Good day, everyone. How are you? I think and I hope that everything is okay. Today, I want to speak about the difference between though, although, even though, and despite and in spite of. First, let's look though, although, and even though. Although is academic version, though is informal, but even though is more, it has a great contrast. All these words have the same meaning. All of them show contrast. But what is the difference between them? The difference is their grammatical structure. Let's look. I prepared a lot, although I hate this subject. Or we can also say, although I hate this subject, I prepared a lot. Though is a little bit informal, and we can also use it at the end of the sentence. Let's look. I prepared a lot. I hate this subject though. Or you can, I prepared a lot, though I hate this subject, or though I hate this subject, I prepared a lot. There is no difference. The only difference is that although is academic and though is informal. And even though, as I said before, it has a great contrast. We emphasize, this exam was easy, even though I failed. Even though, or though England is famous for drinking tea, many people love coffee. Let's look to in spite of and despite. Their structure is here. After in spite of or despite, we use noun or gerund. Let's look at these examples. I went jogging in spite of the rain. After in spite of, we use noun. Or we can also say, in spite of the rain, I went jogging. There is no difference here. Let me... Okay. Now, in spite of my cold, I went to work. Or I went to work in spite of my cold. But after in spite of, we use noun here. We can also say, I went jogging despite the rain. But we can't say despite of the rain. The main difference is this. Despite of, we can't say this version, despite of. Okay. Now, in spite of my cold, I went to work. We said this version. And in spite of being angry, she let us in. It means here we use after in spite of, we use gerund, being angry. I love Disney films despite the fact that it is the second usage. First, after in spite of and despite, we use noun or gerund. The second version is so. After in spite of, and despite, we can use the word the fact that plus clause, and it means subject plus verb. Here is example. I love Disney films in spite of the fact that, or despite the fact that I'm 30. Despite the fact that, or in spite of the fact that I'm 30. We use in spite of or despite plus the fact that. Let me... Okay, it's a second usage of despite and in spite of. We can't say despite of. It's the main difference between them. And as I said before, although is academic, though is informal, and even though is more emphasized. Okay, that's all for now. Goodbye.